So the realtor shows up and he, oh yeah, I said, well, we'll give you 26,000 an acre, and I'm going, well, that don't sound like much. They can't do any better than that. He said, well, what about 33,000 an acre? I'm going, this guy done lost his dang mind. 48,000 an acre? Y'all done crazy. What in the world? This is a scam. 60,000 an acre. Well, who's going to pay for it? I don't even know any of these. You're saying the tech companies, well, they stole that all over off the taxpayers when you get in their annual reports. So it ain't no individual got any kind of money like this. There has to be some government behind it or something somewhere. And then they start talking about, well, we'll give it to you in installments. And I'm going, no, we won't be taking it in installments. You can give it in a lump sum, and I'm going to go see if the bank can handle it. And the banks down here said they couldn't handle it.
Really?
Really. They didn't know anything. They thought I was crazy. Thought I done lost my mind when I brought that proposal to them down there at the banks, both of them.
Yeah.
Now, the realtor was on the board for the one up in Flemingsburg. It was Chuck Marshall was the realtor. And the only thing he could tell me is, well, do you want to adopt me? Oh, hell no, I don't want to adopt you. Certainly wouldn't assign millions over to you. You got any family members you'd sign it over to? No, I don't trust none of them neither, thank you. So when I get to the bottom of it, it took a stockbroker 6 months to figure out how he could even secure $26 million.
So that was the final proposal that they offered you, $26 million?
Yeah.
All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, and that is who the world ignorantly calls God. Bahashem, which means in the name, Yahweh Shai, which means He is our salvation. And that is who the world also ignorantly calls Jesus, a so-called black man who, by the way, only came for the Israelites, all right? Now, what's in the news is these data centers that these wealthy corporations are trying to build in the attempt to catch up with the rest of the world here in America. And in the attempt of doing so, they offered this woman and her daughter $26 million to buy up their farmland to have 2,000 acres for their data centers. See? Because these data centers are going to be what's propelling this AI into the next stage or phase. And they need massive amount of land and other resources to go along with it, such as what? Fresh, clean water, electricity, and so on and so forth. You see? And these farmers, or let's just say this farmer in particular, is trying to play hardball, but her surrounding neighbors, she said some of them have accepted that deal and sold out, all right? But nevertheless, they're getting ready to do what? Make massive moves, all right? And they need this land by all means necessary. All right, whether you want to come up off of it on your own or whether they have to take it by some type of eminent domain, they need it. They need it. They need it. So, this is the headline. It reads, Mother and Daughter Rejected $26 million Offer to Sell Farmland to Build 2,000-acre Data Center. But, says others haven't. See? So she's trying to be the oddball out, you know, but eventually she's going to cave, all right? They're going to come with some number and they're going to have to take it, all right? It says, they call us old stupid farmers, you know, but we're not, said Ida Hutchison, 82. All right. So a Kentucky mom and daughter are continuing to speak out after not selling their farmland. Because you got to ask yourself, what type of farmland could be so valuable in the eyes of these corporations that they are willing to shove out $26 million? If they willing to shove out $26 million, they may be even willing to shove out $50 million. See? It says, there's nothing that can destroy me if I've got this land, said Delcia Barr, the buyer described as a Fortune 100 company, has remained anonymous throughout the process, which remains ongoing. See? And that's the next phase, all right? These corporations, these entities, they're looking to buy out land, all right? And a lot of them, I'm going to hit you with this, aren't from America, all right? They're buying out land over here in America, and they're from other countries, all right? See? America could be bought and sold, man, because America is that whore that all the other nations came to get rich, okay? So a lot of these farmers that has obtained land through, previous generations, these other nations, big time corporations that headquarters are in these other countries, are trying to buy out farmland here in America to build up these massive data centers. And guess what? America's all about that what? That greenback, that dollar, that capitalism, all right? And they'll let these other countries come over here, or should I say these other corporations come over here, and as long as that price is right, they'll let them buy up as much land as possible. And if the inhabitants, the citizens of America, want to fight back and push back, well, guess what? They're going to come with that solution, that answer, all right? They'll just knock the grid off, man. All right? They'll come up with some type of way to have you leave your farm, leave your, whatever you think you've accumulated over the time, your generation that was passed down from, it's already stolen land anyways, but that you believe that you got from your great-great-grandfather or whoever, they'll make you come up off of that, all right? Eminent domain, just to name one right off the rip. So it's only a matter of time, okay, that these entities, in this case, this Fortune 100 company, is going to wait before they make moves to get you to leave that land, okay? So it says a Kentucky mother and daughter are continuing to open up about their decision to keep their farmland rather than accept a multi-million payout that could pave the way for a data center, which may still be happening anyway. You see? So you're going to fight that urge to take the money, and your farmland is going to be valueless, or should I say your farmland is going to be not valuable, but what's the opposite of valuable? Your farmland is going to be pretty much not worth anything once they start building up data centers around your land, and the noise that it makes, it's going to bring your value of your property down tremendously. See? And then they're going to buy your land out for pennies on the dollar when you could have got, in their eyes, a pretty decent amount of money for that land, okay? Now, with that being said, I want to bring up another video with this guy that's on Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary, and we're going to see how he's getting his hand into this data center business, because as stated earlier, or maybe not, but now is that the rich gets richer. Let's look at it. Let's look at that video.
So about why taxpayers should have to pay for this if it's a private business and your tenants are some of the richest companies in the world. Why would taxpayers be required, as they now are, to subsidize this?
They don't necessarily have to do that. They just won't win any contracts. It's a competition.
But why are you getting tax breaks is my question.
Everybody, you go back and you say, what incentives can you give us to invest $15 billion in the first 1.5 gigs. That's what it takes. I have to go raise $15 billion. That's just
okay,
the
but
first
anyone who
one.
starts a business, why should taxpayers have to pony up for that?
They don't. But
Well, of course they do.
others-
If you're getting a tax break and they're not, they're making up the difference. There's a state budget.
Hey, that's no problem. That's no problem. I can build it in Texas. I can build it in Jacksonville, Mississippi.
But why, if it's such a good business, would you be asking taxpayers to help pay for it without giving them equity in the company? Are you giving taxpayers shares?
No, the investors get the shares. But here's why they would do
But
it.
why would the taxpayers have to?
Well,
I mean, in other words,
I'm
if you
telling
want to
you
start a business, but why am I, as a taxpayer, forced to pay for it? Your business. I don't get it. Let me.
Well, you get it. You're just playing as if you don't, because you know the answer already. Because why? This is how the rich get richer, all right? By playing on the poor, all right? Those that don't know anything, all right? Through what? Their bills, their legislations, and everything else that passes, okay? Which is why they can come and make deals with other businesses and entities from other countries and sell this land over here in America to the highest bidder to build these data centers. Because why? The rich get richer at the expense of its people, all right? And for the most part, the people here in America is barely making ends over meet, see? But once these data centers are up and running, you're going to see they're going to offer universal basic income, okay? They're going to subsidize what you have and give you what? A monthly allowance or maybe a weekly allowance to do what? To spend on what or how they see fit for you to spend. See, this is what all this information, this data is leading up to, all right? They're building this beast system right before our very own eyes, and they need the brain or the computer of it to host with these humongous data centers, all right? We're going to show you how big one of these data centers is. Let's see if we can scroll through and look and find one.
Just for my own curiosity. So I've been just for my own curiosity, compared to like a average supersize whatever Walmart, how big is a data center, like around that size, or?
So no, a hyperscale data center, they vary, but the average is 32 football fields.
Holy Jesus Christ.
It's huge. It takes like 15 minutes to drive past it.
Are you hearing this? 32 football fields, okay? You see? And you have to ask yourself, who is America in bed with? Or let's say, who isn't America in bed with? Because this is this whore, man. All right? She's cheap. Her goods are cheap. And you can pretty much get her on the low, man. Now, the people, you dumb Americans, you're trying to fight and resist this, but it's going to happen. It's inevitable, all right? And we're going to get that clip as well, all right? Because it's going to come to a point where they're going to push the regular American into what? All-out civil war, all right? And that's where we're headed to. Because why? These companies, these Fortune 500, 100 companies, they're coming with the hammer, whether you people like it or not. So you're going to have to make that move, all right? And you better believe they got provisions in place for that, for just that, scenario. So let's listen to this a little bit more, and we get a few precepts.
And it requires, and again, this varies, but requires enough electricity that would power 1 million homes.
I saw that claim.
So that is it's just a gargantuan, drag, and it's a huge space. I mean, and some of them are much larger than that. So,
Jesus.
And the fact that there's now a race, kind of space race, but data center race going on among the major tech companies, and you feel that when you're on the ground. These companies, these developers are like, we need to know the answer now. And and some of these towns are saying, well, God, we were arguing about a stoplight for 9 months last year, and you want the answer to the biggest development project in the history of the town.
So I've been letting it slide.
Data centers will take the lives of 90% of the population. I'm talking about what data centers are already doing to regular people right now. In Georgia, families are fighting eminent domain because power companies are restructuring transmission lines for massive new data centers. People are literally losing homes so these data centers can get enough electricity to operate. Your childhood home means nothing when billion-dollar AI infrastructure shows up. And out west, residents around Lake Tahoe are already being warned that parts of the power grid may not be able to keep up with future demand.
And that's how they go about taking and seizing your land by a process by the name or by the title of eminent domain. That's pretty much basically the right of the government to seize your land, your property, in the aspect of compensating you for it. All right. Sometimes they pay well over the asking price so that what? You can no more come back and say that you didn't get anything for your land, all right? And you either take the check or guess what? You lose your house, your land, or whatever else you got, okay?
Now think about that for 1 second. Americans are being told they could lose reliable power while giant data centers continue expanding nationwide. And these data centers don't just use power. They use unbelievable amounts of water. Billions of gallons in drought-prone states, and now people living near some of these facilities are starting to complain about constant industrial noise, headaches, sleep issues, stress, and health concerns from living beside massive...
And don't worry, okay? They're going to make sure you're well compensated when they roll out that universal basic income, which is eventually going to transition to what? The mark of the beast. All right. So let's get one more clip and then we'll wrap it up and get a couple of precepts.
Oh, I found something big.
In a bid to catch up in the AI.
Let me ask, though, about why
I can't wrap my...
Google and Blackstone just teamed up.
Well, we're bringing...
So, he's involved.
Charlotte City Council is considering a 150-day data center moratorium as the city grapples with its worst drought in 2 decades. I'm Joe Bruno. I cover Charlotte news for...
So are we ever going to...
He's in... Well,
Google and Blackstone just...
I can't...
Let me ask, though, about...
In a bid to catch...
Data centers will...
So I've been letting this...
Just from out.
Let me ask, though...
My house is a... What are these massive data centers really for? Because let's be honest.
What happened to the sound? I know we was just...
Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary. I need to tell...
Listen to this conversation that...
Mr. Hollingsworth, I know that you had your hand up to talk.
Hello, my name is Will Hollingsworth. I work at Reed Memorial Library, and thank you all for hearing me today. I'm not going to become a... Other financial implications of this industry, they've been tax breaks.
We don't need another data center. You don't know what the health impact is. You got them all crunched together. You're going to have a mass exit. You're going to ruin this community. You're going to ruin it. Ruin it if you let this continue.
We're supposed to look out for the welfare of our people, and I feel like
maybe they think they're doing what's correct, but they're not really pausing and paying attention to what their people are saying. So I'm going to fight for that, and I'm going to fight for our people.
And that's what's getting ready to take place. Hey, a fight between the people and their government, okay? Because their government is easily bought and sold by the highest bidder. So let's go ahead and get a few precepts. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 18 and verse 9. The subtitle reads, Lament for Babylon. It says, Revelation 18 and 9, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and live deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. See? So eventually America will be destroyed by the way of thermonuclear fire. But before then, these kings, these other nations, these, higher ups, they've made hand over fist with importing their goods to America to be sold, all right? Because why? America, Babylon the Great, is a consuming nation, all right? And it's no different, all right? There are what? Entities, or should I say parts of the government, and dare I say even the administration that's currently in power, that take backdoor deals, okay? That put faces of America businesses out for the people to buy and sell, but behind closed doors, they're ran by what? Other countries or other corporations from other countries, okay? So it says, Revelation 18 and 9, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, at last, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her. Why? For no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. See? So they're going to weep more because why? They're not going to be able to be made rich and fat off of the delicacies of America. Because why? America, Babylon the Great, is a consuming nation, man. All right? And they can always sell to whatever extent they have to the Americans. Because why? You Americans, you eat it up. You buy it up. You'll pay $1,600, $1,800 for a goddamn iPhone 20. Okay? See? And they know that. Okay? And it'll take them what? $15 to make that? $30 to make it? Showing you that they make over close to a 500% profit margin. All right? Off of you dumbass Americans. It says, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones, and of pearls and fine linen, and purple and silk and scarlet, and all fine wood, and all manner vessels of ivory, and all manner vessels of most precious wood, and of brass, and of iron, and marble. So it just lists all the things that Babylon the Great was used to sell from the kings of the other nations, and showing you the similarities till this day. All right, how America imports all these other goods from all other parts of the world, showing you that what? Anyone could come over here and make it like a fat cat. All right, so for the simple fact that these Fortune 500, Fortune 100 companies want to come over here and buy out farmland, is no different, okay? They're going to buy it out because these state mayors and governors and all that, they'll just claim your property as eminent domain, buy you out, give you some other land that's less desirable and sell it to the highest bid, corporation from China or Pakistan or whatever that wants to set up shop over here in America, all right, to make hands over fists off of what? This consuming nation, all right? Because America is, if not one of the biggest consuming nations in the whole world, all right? And these other nations know it, man. These other nations know it, all right? So the rich get richer, all right? This is Micah chapter 2 and verse 2. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So eventually it's going to come a time where they tired of you people in these town hall meetings telling them that they're not going to be able to take this land that they tried to give you a reasonable price for, an asking price over what it was worth, and they're going to just take it by violence, okay? Send in the National Guard, send in the UN, send in whoever, and just take the land, all right? And that's where we're going. We're coming to that point, all right? Well, it's going to get real, real interesting, all right, to say the least, here in Babylon the Great. Because why? This agenda of the elites has to be accomplished before a certain period of time, because they have not a lot of time. Revelation 12 and 12. So they're about to come down with that great wrath, Lord willing. Abba Ratazar. And it says Micah 2 and 2. And they covet fields and take them by violence. So they asking you nicely right now, and you're not capitulating, or you're not acquiescing to their demands. So what's the next phase? They're going to take it by violence, man. All right? See, and that's why the Americans said that's why our forefathers put the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, in the Constitution. No, they put it in there because they wanted this, okay? They wanted to take, you Americans out by violence, okay? And ultimately, it's the will of the Heavenly Father, because he wants this place to what? Be in an all-out civil unrest, civil war, so that they can be what? Justified in bringing in that, controlling device, okay? So it says, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage, see? And they're going to take your farmland, all right? Whether you want the 26 million, or whether you want more, or whether you don't want it, all right? At the end of the day, they're going to take it, all right? And they got weapons that your everyday American that has a shotgun or AK or whatever else, man, they'll just hit you with a fucking a DEW, a direct energy weapon, man. See, they tried to come and give you a reasonable, fair price, and you didn't want it. So what are they going to do? They'll use the heart machine, the weather manipulation machine. They'll fucking send a hurricane through and rip up all your fucking farmland. See, you're playing with a devil that's on a whole nother level of wickedness, man. See, you think he could just fight this devil and turn down 26 million? You think you could just show up at a goddamn town hall meeting and say, you're not going to take it? No, we're not going to take it. They'll start a fucking forest fire, a brush fire. They'll fucking start a tsunami. They'll do anything, man. All right? Look up direct energy weapon, man. You think these devils is just going to sit back and let you tell them what to do? A fucking mere peasant? A peon? You got to be kidding me, man. Okay? See? But the time is coming, because why? They have but a short time. Revelation 12 and 12. So they get ready to take it by violence. Okay? Whether it's a direct energy weapon, whether it's a weather manipulation scenario, whatever it is, you're going to come up off that land one way or another. All right? Just look what happened back in the, what was that? Carolinas? Might not have been the Carolinas, but it wasn't that long ago, but that hurricane came through. All right? That hurricane, yeah, it was like a year or two ago. It might have been up in Kentucky somewhere over there, but they got what they wanted. They got the desire outcome that they was looking for. All right. So what do you think they're gonna do with these data centers when it's that time? All right. They'll just wipe out a whole fucking city and send a flood through there and fuck up your whole house, and your insurance company will drop you. And these are the wicked, man. Your insurance company will drop you, and you'll be out there looking like, damn, I should have took that 26 million. Okay. And you ain't gonna have shit to show for it, man. So they covet fields, they take them by violence and houses and take them away, so they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. See? So they on a whole nother playing field. Psalms 73 and verse 3. It says, for I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. See? And that's because why? The Lord gave them this short time to rule, man. So they got to bring forth this agenda that the Lord is using them to do that. It says, for there are no bands in their depth, but their strength is firm. See? And they got shit that these regular everyday Americans that think that they got some type of fucking security with their farmland that was passed down from generation to generation. Man, these 1%ers, these elites, these Rothschilds, these Rockefellers, these DuPonts, these real 1% Edomites, man, they'll just send a fucking, excuse the language, they'll just send a weather manipulation scenario, whether it's a flood, a hurricane, a fire, and pretty much wreck shop and take your whole land, man. See? Your insurance company will drop you and everything. It says, verse 5, they are not in trouble as other men. And you won't do anything about it, because at best, you'll just have to speculate. At worst, you have to pick up and start all the way over, man. And they know, guess what, at 82, you ain't got much time to start all the way over. So they're going to say you should have took the 26 million, all right, and lived to see another day. So it says, they are not in trouble as other men. The rich get richer. Neither are they plagued like other men. See? They on a whole nother bracket, all right? You up here paying taxes. They don't pay taxes, man. All right? They on a whole nother level. You eating at, a table. They eating at a goddamn castle somewhere. All right? So it says they are not in trouble as other men. Neither are they plagued like other men. All right? The rich get richer. Okay? And they coming for you. Your land and everything else that entails that. All right? So the rich get richer. And the other saying, the poor get poorer, man. So that was pretty much it. Let's finish up and close out. All right, this is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 5 and verse 8. It reads, be sober, be vigilant. Why? Because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. See, he's going to get that desired outcome by all means necessary, whether you give it up on your own or whether he take it by violence, man. He's going to get it, okay? So, we got to be prepared, man, because this ain't our rest, all right? Let these Edomites, fight it out amongst themselves because they fighting over some damn land that's going to get destroyed anyway, man, all right? We just here to do our part, serve our power, Yahweh through his only begotten son, Yahweh Shai, and to do what? To get prepared for what? Our deliverance, our salvation, man. All right, because this is not our rest. Micah 2 and 10, arise and depart, for this is not your rest. It will destroy you, even with a sore, or even with a what? A polluted sword. All right, roughly paraphrase. Might have to get it now that I done butchered it. Micah 2 and 10, because you shouldn't have any attachments to this place, man. See, that's Esau, Edom. They have attachment to this place because why? They don't have anything else after this. It says, Micah 2 and 10, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. See? So you got to come up out of this place, man, because it's pretty much all but over, man. We just waiting on a couple of more prophecies, and we up out of here. So 1 Peter 5 and 8, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. See? So if you got any ties to this wicked society, this kingdom, this, captivity, it's going to show in that day. Okay. It's going to show. All right. Now you might not have the land like that farmer have, but if you have anything that you ain't willing to, or you haven't let go for Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai's sake, it's going to show. It's going to manifest. All right. And if you don't purge out and get all that leaven out before that time come, you ain't gonna make it, man. All right. So you got to be prepared mentally that, hey, I'm gonna have to let all this shit go eventually. All right. Spiritually, you got to be prepared. You got to be ready. Okay. Because we entering that time. All right. Well, we're gonna have to solely rely on who? Our Lord and Savior. All right. We're gonna have to solely rely on Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. All right. And he's gonna provide for the elect. Okay. Trust and believe, Isaiah 65, all right? So it says, 1 Peter 5 and 8, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour, all right? So that's pretty much it. We're going to wrap it up. With that being said, pray someone was edified through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. Hey, we're almost home. Shalom. Peace.